Hi, Deborah. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you see, I want to thank you for two things, Deborah. Firstly, I want to thank you for investing in yourself. You see, some months back, Deborah, I was passing by a mango tree, and it didn't really catch my attention. Why? Because it's got no fruits on it. But you see, just recently when I was passing by that same road, and I sighted the mango tree from afar. And this time around, it caught my attention. And when I moved closer, and I was wowed. Why? Because now it's got a lot of mango fruit on it. There are a lot of mangoes on it now. So the point is, the fact that you dedicated your time, energy, resources to becoming who you are today, it attracted me. Reading your profile, I said, nah, this is a good one. And thank you so very much for investing in yourself. I love that. And secondly, thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it. Okay, I am quite excited to have Deborah on the show for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking, because I believe in order to transition from a chaotic situation to that of a beautiful one, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information. And you see, Deborah, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very, very important to me and even to the audience. Now, the second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Deborah on the show is for the sake of the listeners. You know, Deborah, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got a lot of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality stuffs. And that's why when I was reading a little bit about you, I was excited because I believe our conversation is going to be insightful. So for that reason, Deborah, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey. We're just so curious. We want to know how you got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Deborah, over to you.
Thank you. Well, it's been an interesting journey. I'm a psychologist and applied developmental psychologist, and I started out as a researcher looking at all the things that make us afraid of getting older. I specialize in aging, the second half of our life. And someone said to me at a dinner, "What do we have to look forward to?" And I was stumped because all I was doing was researching things that we didn't ever want to have or get. And that was things like frailty, depression, dementia. And I didn't ever look at what we have to look forward to. So after he asked me that, I decided to really take a look at the research that had been done and the theories that were out there that had been around for a long time, but people just weren't talking about them. And I stumbled across a lot of developmental research that looked at our emotional development. And so I got intrigued and switched what I was doing, moving from all of the pathology that could exist potentially in our lives, but we shouldn't expect to exist, to what is it that we should actually expect, similar to walking and talking. We have an emotional development that rides along the same path that we have with our physical development. And so when I looked at that, I realized, wow, if we look at our emotional development, we get happier as we get older. And I wondered why. And it turns out that in midlife, we hit a stage called generativity. And that's where we want to give back to others without expecting anything in return. And when I was young and first out studying psychology, that wasn't something that really resonated with me because I couldn't imagine how, we would be built to want to give back. And so what I really found out was through researching and talking to about 45 people about why they would want to mentor, people want to give back because they feel they're relevant. They feel like they're productive, helpful, useful. It's helpful to us. It makes us feel like better human beings and like we actually matter, that we were born and that we live on this earth if we've actually helped someone else to understand something. And so I decided to, well, I was talking to people to figure out if we could maybe start a little mentoring with just a couple of people to see how that would look. And the process started with about 10 of us, just sending out someone into schools and seeing how that worked. And we had a great deal of fun. We were just volunteering our time and having a lot of fun. And people said, well, that's as far as it'll ever go. No one's ever going to want to donate their time, especially leaders in their fields. And I thought, okay, that's fine. If we stick with 10 people, we're good. And what happened was people couldn't have been more wrong who said that, because we moved from 10 to 60, 80, and then to more than 100 mentors who are all top in their fields who asked to join the Mentor Project. And 5 years later, we now this year have donated more than $2.7 million of mentoring hours to students around the world. And so it started really as just a journey, an exploration. And we're now at the point where we can see that this is something that should be a movement. We should really be trying to get people connected who want to give back, but don't know where they can find someone to connect with people who are looking to be mentored and can't find a mentor. So we're really hoping to make this a movement around the world.
Amazing, Deborah. You see, I love that. And yeah, that is it. It is actually a movement. You said, I love that part where you mentioned that you're actually not after the crowd. If it is 10, then let's get started with 10 people. I love that. And now you have over 100 people, and that's amazing. And the part where you said that, why do people want to give? They want to give because they want to feel relevant, and that's so true. And I believe it has become a movement because whatever it is that is associated with providing solution to problems is very, very important. And folks will always get attracted to it. And so I love what you're doing, and that's a great one. So let us begin the questions first with, things to positive things, all right, to look forward to as we age. Can you talk to us about some of these things?
Yes, we should expect to feel happier as we get older. So even though as we get older, we may need to have reading glasses or we can't run as fast as we used to when we were younger, people don't really care about that. We really care more about our connections and the purpose that we have and feeling fulfilled. And we should expect to feel that way. It's really not normal if you don't. The normal trajectory is for us to get happier and happier as we get older. And it's for us to feel more fulfilled and to have connections that mean something to us, that make us feel like we are not just relevant, but useful, but that we feel a safety. If you think of anyone that you're connected with, that you feel really meaningfully connected to, that's the person you're going to call in the middle of the night. That's if you're in need. That's the person that when you have great news to share, you want to call them because they're not jealous. They're happy for you. So what we can expect as we grow older is that we're going to have friendships that we make when we're young. And a lot of those are going to be superficial friendships, but they're needed for us to figure out who we are. And so all of those, as we get more and more intensely involved in our lives with maybe a significant other, with children, with family, those really less meaningful connections fall by the wayside. That's not a failure. That's that we're being more choosy with our meaningful connections. So what we'll do is say, you know what, I'm going to spend my time with these people who mean a lot to me and less time with those people who maybe I had a lot of fun with while I was figuring out who I was. And as we move forward and we know who we are, we don't really care about what others say and think about what we're doing. We feel a solidness in our core where we we say to ourselves, I'm now connected with the people that I care most about and who care about me. And we feel like we've chosen a path with values and with morals and those sorts of things that we really feel connected with. And so all of that comes together as we get older, and it deepens with age, so that if we think of ourselves as a sort of an apple tree, that at birth we plant the seed. In the first half of our life, the tree is not mature. It isn't until we get to the very end of life that apples form, and those apples are our maturity. So we may think that we're mature when we're 20 or 30, but we're really not. It's not until we have that fruit that's ready to be picked off and given away as wisdom, as our legacy, as our morals, values, skills, our traditions. So if you look at every part of your life, if you have a holiday or a tradition, it feels comfortable to you. And that's because someone's apple has been given to you from their tree and they passed that down. So our lives get filled with more meaning, more value, more connections. And we have that desire to take what we have and move it on and not just hoard it for ourselves.
Amazing. I love the metaphor, and our life get filled with more meanings, more values, and connection. And we don't just own them, we pass them on. I got that. I love how you explained it. Okay, you made it very easy to understand. That's a good one, Deborah. Okay, you see, I had someone talk to me about retirement just I think yesterday, but I just want to know your thought on it. So, how can people prepare for retirement effectively?
Well, that one is one that we have done a bad job preparing people for retirement, because most of us, I call our business card that we might have is our identity card. And if we have our identity only in our job or our title at work, we're going to have a hard time switching to an identity in retirement, because we'll say, oh my goodness, all of my power, all of the things that I've held important about myself went away with my job. And so, if before you retire, you can identify with all the things that you enjoy outside of work, that can be a hobby, that can be with the things that matter to you in your community, that can be a religious life, that can be whatever you want it to be, but make sure that your identity holds way more than just your job, and that you feel a sense of purpose, and that you feel a sense of value or helpfulness or usefulness outside of work. So a suggestion is to get involved in generative activities, and those are volunteering, mentoring, and philanthropy. So you may not be able to pay to have your name on the side of a building, but you can volunteer. Everyone can do that. You can mentor. Everyone can do that. And when you engage in any of those three or all of those three, you're going to have your identity put into a place that you say, I matter and I'm making a difference. And that's going to help you when you go to retire.
Wow, I got that. Okay, let us talk about mentorship. All right. What is the difference between lateral mentorship and hierarchical mentorship? I don't know if I pronounced that well, but do you get it? Like hierarchy, yeah, hierarchical mentorship, yeah.
You pronounced it correctly.
Okay.
When I when I talk about hierarchical mentoring, that's the mentoring we all think of. And I put that term hierarchical there because most of us don't think of lateral mentoring, and I have to make a differentiation between the two. So hierarchical mentoring is where someone above you with an expertise is pulling you up to get you someplace. That may be a higher job, that may be into the workplace, so guiding you in that way. It's getting you to go up the ladder, up extra rungs of a ladder. It's usually thought of as the workplace, but not always. This can be a grandparent mentoring a grandchild in the values and tradition and culture in the family. This can be something like that, but it's always someone with the wisdom and the person is below. And you could think of that also as an apprentice. So the way that lateral mentoring is, which is a term that I coined, is where this is the kind of mentorship that we don't think about, but is the one that everyone does all the time. And this is where, if you look to your left or to your right, you are looking at somebody who probably has mentored you, or that you have mentored, or is a possibility that that might happen. So how often have you asked a friend to help you with something? You didn't know how to do it. You needed somebody to help you. And your friend said, I'll help you. I'm going to teach you what I know. And they do that. That's mentoring. So, an example I have is when I was in graduate school, I was in my externship, and a classmate called me from her externship frantic because she called me and she said, I'm at my externship and they're asking me to do a project. And I don't know how to do this one kind of statistics called kappa statistics. And I know you know how to do it. Can you help me? And I'm at my externship and I'm on the phone with her and I'm walking her through how to do it. I don't benefit from her getting that, but this could save her job at her externship, which was very meaningful to her. So I sat there and she got it. She did her project and everything worked out great. Now, I didn't think anything of it, but that's mentoring. She now has a new form of knowledge that is in her and she can use now forever. How many times has anyone done that? We do it all the time. We don't even think about it. A friend calls you, you say, I've got you. I'm going to be there. So, and that has happened for me also. I call people all the time and say, I don't understand how to do this. Can you help me? I do that all the time as the CEO of the Mentor Project. I'll say, I don't know how to navigate this area. Can you in your area help me to navigate that? And people help me. That's mentoring. They're not my boss. They're not helping me move up. But when you see the lateral mentoring, it's the form of mentoring that has led to the tech revolution. Every new technology that happened was not one person. If you're doing something new like entrepreneurship, nobody's above you to help you to do it. You can't rely on hierarchical mentoring. You're relying on those who are next to you. If you're a software engineer, you likely need to get mentorship from a hardware engineer. So this is the kind of mentorship that if we can acknowledge doing this, then we're going to do more of it and it's going to mean something to us and it will matter to us. And we won't just say, oh yeah, I just had a phone call with a friend. That's the more powerful mentorship that I'm trying to get out there as part of the movement.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you for explaining it that way. I got it. Okay, so to bring this to an end, Deborah, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? To those ones who would like to reach out to you, learn more about what you're doing, or even be a part of the amazing mentorship programs and all of that, how can that be possible?
Well, you can reach out to the Mentor Project by going to the website mentorproject.org. If you're looking for a mentor and you're a student, we offer free mentorship. Just click on Become a Mentee. If you'd like to donate, we are all volunteers. We make this mission and this movement happen all through generativity. If you would like to help us, please support us. Click on the donate button and support us in any way you can. And if you'd like to volunteer in some way, reach out to us with the contact us button. If you'd like to learn more about mentorship, I hope that you'll check out my book. It's called The Mentorship Edge. You can find it anywhere you find books. It's Kindle, hard copy, and it'll be on audiobook on December 10th. And you can also find me on LinkedIn if you'd like to reach me there.
So that's going to be the end of the show. And thank you for coming. And thank you for sharing this amazing stuff with us.
Thank you for having me.